Are you starting now?
Starting now. 5, 4, 3, 2.
Seersucker soup on a hot summer day. Coffee comes back in a nerve-wracking way. The dishes and laundry take the garbage out. What a day, what a day, what a day.
Well, welcome to Capital Region today. I'm so happy that you're joining us today. We have a great show. I say that every week, but it's really true. We have really a great show coming up with lots of interesting guests coming up. We're going to be talking, a number of guests, by the way. We're going to be talking about a sci-fi festival that's coming up. We're going to be talking about the Sycamore Collaborative, which is, they have their summer program with their meals, which we're going to find out where those meals are held. And then we're talking about Juneteenth, and that's the end of slavery. That's a very interesting story, by the way, and we'll probably hear more about that. Iroquois Museum is here as well, and who doesn't love to see some of those wonderful dancers? And we'll hear a little bit more about their summer programs coming up and exhibits. And then we're going to hear from the Bunbury Players, and they're doing a man of no importance. And but every man has some importance, I would think, but we'll find out more about that. But we're going to start right out with the sci-fi. The film Schenectady Film has a festival coming up. It's the Sci-Fi Festival, and I am a big sci-fi fan. So take it away, guys. What's going on? And you're doing it in a number of places, right? Who's talking first?
We are.
Yeah,
actually.
And you're the coordinator, sort of. Yeah.
Yes, well, we all kind of work together.
Yeah, okay,
thank you for having me. It's my
yes,
first
Donna,
time visiting.
thank you.
The Sci-Fi Schenectady Film Fest, we're very excited about it. Our inaugural event kicks off the weekend of June 20th. And we're inviting people to kind of experience sci-fi at the intersection of science and science fiction.
Oh, yeah.
So people say, well, why the two together? Well, you know, look at our history, right? We have G in our backyard. We are
Absolutely.
home to some of the greatest scientists of all time, then and now. You know, very innovative city, if you will. And I think we have a really wonderful lineup that's going to appeal to everybody.
Well, and I saw some of the films, and I think we have a list of them there that I put up. I couldn't download the pictures, but I had the names of some of the films, and I said to Richard, I don't think I've seen any of these, and he says, well, I think they're all new. So what are some of the movies? Who wants to address that?
We have quite a lineup. So we have two short blocks of programs, which were curated by Paul Kazee. He did
he's a wonderful film curator.
Wonderful job. These are award-winning shorts that are international and domestic from around the globe. Locally, we have two shows of shorts that are being seen with the directors present.
How nice.
Yes,
yeah.
We're very excited to be showing Resistance, and director John Russell Crane will be with us.
Oh, John is a great guy.
He's fantastic. Him and his wife are like
I
a
know,
power
they're
team, right?
amazing.
They're
John
amazing.
has been on the show, and he's always a treat to have on.
Yeah. So we're really excited about that.
Yeah.
He'll be in the first block that's on Saturday, the first film block program that's at Movie Land. That's titled Space and Time.
Okay, where's movie?
Scene 1, Movie Land, Bow Tie Cinema.
Oh, the Bow Tie. Yeah, they changed the name, right?
Yes, yes.
That's it. That's right.
They
you
call
throw
it
me
Bow
for a
Tie.
minute. Yeah, you're right.
They call it Movie Land.
Yeah.
And the second block is called Future Tech, and in that lineup we have a local director, Richard Luanello, and his film Life Quest actually has racked up about 45, I think about 45 award wins to this point. So we're really excited about that.
Is there a charge for these?
There is fees. You could go
You
to
can
the
get
Eventbrite.
not a season ticket, but you can get a ticket for the whole thing.
Right, you could get a full pass that gets you through the whole weekend for $50, and that gets you all access to all of the films, all the events that are going on, all the parties for $50.
That's a great thing.
Or you could select whatever you'd like for $15.
Okay.
And break it down that way. So we have two short film blocks. We have some feature films that we're excited about.
This is going to be very exciting.
And we have the silent films.
And you're going to be bringing a lot of people in. Now, I know the back row there, we have the Armory. And the Armory, you're participating in this as well, is that correct?
Yes, we are. We're very excited to participate in this. The Film Fest runs concurrent with Art Night Schenectady, which I know you're really familiar
Absolutely,
with.
yeah.
So it's great to have these two different genres of art together in one home on the Friday night, because the Art Night Schenectady.
So you're going to have it at the
Friday.
Armory, but where in the Armory? Is that going to be the Officers Club?
So yes, the
Okay.
filming with the panel will be down in the Officers Club starting at 8:30, and our Richard here is the moderator and
Yeah.
the star panelist. And on Art Night, we have entertainment up in the lounge. This week, it is called Bellevue Swing. Some really cool. It's called Hot Swing music. Very interesting.
So this is really a
Huge.
package.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So your ticket for either the whole weekend or just for Friday night gets you entrance to the Armory's downstairs event.
Okay.
But anybody is welcome.
How do they
if they
get a ticket,
participate.
though?
They can go to our website.
Okay.
There's a link to the Sci-Fi website to
Okay.
purchase.
Okay.
Yeah, and then downstairs we always have entertainment as well. Doug Chilton will be down there tickling the ivories as he does every art night. So we're
Art Night is always
excited.
fun, and there's so much to see.
Yeah, so we really enjoy when a couple of different community groups get together. When we did the shorts, that was fun. So we're really excited by it.
Well,
so
who
there'll
wouldn't be, right?
Exactly. So there will be, as usual, some fun beverages, some nibbles. So we're excited to be a host site.
And this is going to be on 2 nights, right? Or 2 days or 3 days?
This is 3. So we
3
kick
days.
off on Friday evening. That's our launch.
Okay.
And we, as Kim mentioned, that is all at Armory Studios, New York. And then on Saturday and Sunday, it will go between GE Theater at Proctor's and Movie Land.
Okay.
Between the 2 theaters.
This is just going to be amazing.
There are so many features of the festival that it's impossible to cover them all here. The
Yeah.
website is very comprehensive, but on Friday night, since we're kicking off at Armory Studios New York, so it's going to be a mashup of the first science fiction films ever. So many people are familiar with the Millet Brothers and the Trip to the Moon, and we will be showing
that's an old one.
But we'll be showing a few others that are less common.
Well, that was black and white.
It's silent. of
silent
course.
film.
Right.
Yeah.
And of course, they used to paint these films even back then.
Yeah.
That's a longer.
Oh, and
story.
they do parts of it painted.
Right.
So it's cool.
But if you're interested in any of that geeky stuff and just talking about film, we're going to have a terrific panel. So we have Tate Otadi from our own Baron Bird, and who's a comic book and contemporary culture expert. And we have Michael Oatman a professor from RPI, who's just awesome.
And that's going to be on Friday?
Friday night. And Justin Rivers.
You're
who's
just
a-
packing my
it's
calendar. You know
unbelievable.
that, right?
So if you want to come and geek out on film, the whole weekend is for you, but certainly Friday night, you can start rolling. And we're
Yeah.
going to be covering a lot of topics, all the way from silent films, how they were viewed, when they were first viewed, what that meant to the culture.
Trip to the
all-
Moon, they did that one with there were
It's
so many.
It's so cute, right?
Yeah.
All the way to AI.
Yeah.
We have
Yes.
people talking about AI later in the festival. So if you're
yes.
interested in science, again, and science fiction, this is your festival. Come out and support.
Well, I'm going to check that calendar and make sure that I get to see some of it. That would be great. It's so. I love sci-fi. It's been a passion of mine since I was a kid. Even in junior high, I wrote sci-fi stories. Would you believe that? I mean, and I even illustrated them. So that
What was your
I
first
go
movie?
back way back.
What was your first movie that you remember?
Oh, the first movie. Oh, Barbarella? No.
That's a good one. That's a really good one.
Me too.
Good old Jane Fonda. She really did that. That was one of them anyway. That was in the beginning. You caught me off guard. But anyways, and I love Star Trek, anything to do with Star Trek. So, yeah, that's great. Donna, thank you so much for putting this together. Is this the first of all of the film festivals you're going to do?
This is the first of what we hope is going to be many to
Good,
follow. We've
good.
long discussed, putting a film festival together. So we're just thrilled, and it really takes a team,
Yeah.
to pull something like this off. So
Wonderful.
I'm-
And you
I'm
got a
fortunate.
great team right here.
We sure do.
These
We
are,
have a
are
great
wonderful
team.
people to work with. I know. I've worked with them, and they're great. Yeah. So anyway, if you want, go ahead. You were going to say something, right? Go ahead.
These two folks in front of us right here.
Okay.
Donna with the film and Richard with the creative director.
Yeah.
Not only for the film fest, but for Art Night.
Yeah.
I mean, Schenectady has become a nice destination walkable
Art
destination.
night is wonderful.
Isn't it amazing?
Yeah, and I'm glad they brought it back. I was one of the originals. That was
Yes, you
way
were.
back when.
Yes, you
way
were.
back when. And we worked with Mitch Mesmore.
That's
Yeah.
correct.
And
And
where did that
Polkazine.
come from?
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
So anyway, but we worked with that very much, and so I'm so glad to see that it's coming back again because it was so
The
exciting.
community has been so supportive of it.
Yeah.
We started it out and it wasn't that much of a thing, and then in recent weeks, it's really
builds.
blossoming.
It builds.
It's a hub.
Yeah,
It really
and
is.
Craig
And there's
works
how
very
many
good at that,
locations do we
too,
have
so,
down,
yeah.
downtown
Great
for
people.
art night?
As many as, it changes each month,
Yeah.
but an average of about 15 locations.
I know,
Yeah.
I know, they're all over, yeah, and it's so exciting to promote art and to see what creative people we have in our community.
So true. We haven't even begun to tap it, so
no,
keep
no,
coming out.
It's wonderful, yeah.
We love having it in the Armory.
Yeah, well, thank you all for being here today
It's our
and
pleasure.
talking
Us.
about such an exciting event coming up. I'm so excited.
Thank
yes,
you. We look
yes,
forward
yes.
to seeing you.
Good.
We'll see you there.
Thank you all for being here. We had Donna. She is the, I believe you're the director of the film Schenectady Film, and also working on this.
The Schenectady County Film Commissioner, yes, and the director of the film festival, I guess, yes, you would call
exactly,
that.
yeah. Or creative, yeah, you're working on it.
I'm one of those people.
You're doing it all. Thank you so much for being
Thank
here.
you,
It's
Ann.
been a pleasure to have you all on the
Thank
show
you
and
so
you're doing
much.
such great things for our community. Not only that, but we're spreading it out. This sci-fi is going to be people from all over, right?
Absolutely,
All
yes.
of us diehards with. But we're going to go over here now and talk with our other guests, and we're talking about the Sycamore Collaborative. You changed your name.
That is
Yes.
correct.
And it used to be, just in case anybody wants to know, it was Sycamore, but now it's the Sycamore, and I like the new name. I think it's very nice.
Thank you.
you.
We have the director, and we also have, and so glad to see you here as well, Chinira?
Chinira.
Chinira, yeah. And I think you've both been on before. Yeah.
Yes.
But we're talking about your summer program, and with the upheaval in a lot of our funding and things, you're still steadfast on what you're doing.
That is correct. I mean, it's not unknown that there's challenges across the country, but fortunately, we have not been negatively impacted yet. Now, hopefully that doesn't happen,
Yeah.
but we're sort of preparing for the worst, hoping for the best.
Yeah.
But one of the good things is that we're still able to organize and deploy the summer meal program for this year, which is, I think it's this year's the 30th anniversary
I know.
of the
Well, I
program.
think you've probably been on the not you personally, but they've been on the show almost every year talking about it.
I joined Sycamore Collaborative about 3 years
Yeah.
ago, and what I gather in information is that everything started with a couple of people putting sandwiches of peanut butter and jelly
Yeah,
together
baking
and
sandwiches,
distributing
right.
them
Yeah.
at Central Park.
Now
And-
you have a source.
Yes, actually last year it was the first year that we initiated a collaboration with Schenectady School District,
Right.
and they are providing the food. They're preparing and bringing the food to our sites. And this year we're planning on having 10 sites open across Schenectady from July 1st all the way to August 29.
So how do you? I mean, you've got a number of sites. I know you're you work with volunteers, right?
No, I'm the manager for resource
Manager, but
development, yeah.
who gets the volunteers? Is what?
So that would be our community outreach
Oh,
coordinator.
you have a community outreach. Okay,
Yes.
fine. Because you've got to staff
Yeah.
the 10 sites.
Correct. And that's a challenge. So about 3-4 years ago during the COVID years, we were able, there was resources for it, we were able to bring staff, paid staff. At some point when I came on board, there was about 30 people on payroll just for summer meals. It was 2 hours per day, but still about 30 people. That was reduced to about 4 or 5 people last year, and this year we only have 3 people on staff to support summer meals, which means
Wait a minute. 3 people?
that is correct.
But you have 10 sites.
Correct. And that's where I'm going
I'm
with
trying
this.
to do the math here.
So what happened is
Do you need volunteers?
we need volunteers.
Yes.
You know, we took a different approach last year, seeing the changes that were coming our way, the resource limitations that we had. It was important for us to start developing partnerships with different organizations.
Yes.
So we managed to establish a partnership with the Boys and Girls of Schenectady, Girls Inc., YMCA, and United Way, and many other organizations that are helping us staff many of the sites.
Okay,
So that's one approach. And also, they reach out to the community for people to volunteer. We need volunteers. Anyone who has a couple hours between 11 and 2 p.m., you know, we need the help. So we're
Okay, and what would their duties be? Because maybe somebody's watching right now and said, yes, I'd love to do that. But what do I have to do?
So essentially, just show up at the site. You know, if you sign up, you can reach out at Carrie at sycamorecollab.org, and they can set you up with the information. But essentially, it's showing up at a site and helping us with the distribution to the community of these meals.
And how? Okay, so you're saying is what, from 11:30?
Yes, the program runs from 11:30 to 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
2 o'clock. So
but
they have
that's
to be
the
there. Okay.
But that's the extent of the sites.
So are they busy the whole time?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
There's the 10 sites have different schedules.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And the
all right.
schedules were decide based on the traction
Oh, okay.
within the community and the setup. So some of those are parks. I think 4 or 5 sites are parks,
So
and there's going to be
does
activities
the volunteer
there.
have to set up the
Yes,
area?
yes. So the expectation for volunteers, what we ask is for them to allocate 2 hours.
Okay.
It's more like an hour and a half to show up 15 to 30 minutes before the site opens.
Okay.
Help us set up. The distribution of food is for 1 hour, and then the pickup.
Oh, it's 1 hour.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it's not like they have to be there 2.5 hours.
No.
That's not bad.
No.
not at all.
So anyone who may have an hour and a half, and wants to show up and volunteer, by all means, we need
Could
all
they
the help that we
volunteer
can.
once a week?
Yes.
Okay, so if they say I can do it every Monday, it's fine.
Absolutely, that helps us a great deal.
Yeah.
Actually, we need floaters, for lack of a better term. Someone who wants to volunteer a couple hours, let's say,
Okay.
but it's not allocated to a specific place, because there's going to be times in which we don't have enough people for one site.
Yeah.
So we can send them to that site and help us distribute meals there.
What happens if it rains?
We still have the site open.
You still
Yes.
have it.
The only times that we close the site is when we receive notification from the state that there's weather conditions that are unsafe
Okay,
for our
alright, yeah.
staff and for the community. Then we
Because
close
people
the
are
site.
still hungry when it rains.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. I actually asked one of my coordinators last week, well, you know, why don't we start opening the sites a little bit later instead of July 1st? And the answer was, well, people have to eat.
Yeah,
So we will be there.
yeah, yeah, and it's true. So you're targeting ages
18 and younger.
18 and younger. So a 3-year-old could come.
Absolutely.
Okay, so what type of food peanut butter and jelly I know are always a hit, but what else do you
It's
have?
still an option.
Yeah.
But the partnership with the Schenectady School District was a tremendous advancement for us, because now we're able to bring hot food to these sites.
You bring hot food?
Yes, so we
Not
have
just sandwiches?
No, we have burgers, we have hot dogs, we have beans. You know, there's a menu
Really?
that changes daily, and then it rotates on a weekly basis.
Oh, I didn't know you had the hot food.
Yes,
Yeah.
and the addition to this year is also we want to open a vegetarian option for those
Because
kids.
there's a lot of people
yes,
who are vegetarian.
and a halal option for
Okay,
those in the
that's
community
great
that need
for the
that.
Muslim, yeah. Yeah, and how, those would be labeled so you know, right?
Absolutely,
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah, I like what you're doing because you're encompassing dietary needs of other people, of other groups of people that, and that's so important. Sometimes we ignore that, and
Yeah.
Right.
yeah, and I may even be responsible for ignoring it. Sometimes when I plan a menu, I don't always think about that. But it raises the awareness that we should, check with our people that are coming. Do you have any special needs?
Right.
That way.
We want to make sure it's a welcoming space, that there's options for everyone, and that everyone feels seen, respected, treated with dignity, and with
Yes.
options that they would
Absolutely.
like.
Do you do anything else during the time that they come? Do you give out books, or do you do anything?
Yes.
Okay.
So one of the things that we have managed to do over the last few years, and it's part of these partnerships. One of the partnerships that we have is with the Create Studios.
Oh yeah, wonderful.
And they come and
group,
join us
wonderful
at the
group.
sites, and they bring art and crafts, and that's activities for the kids to be, entertained while
something
they have their
extra, yeah.
meals. In addition to that, there's also the Parks Commission. They're going to have activities, games, tournaments, and things like that.
That's
So we're going to
wonderful.
be at those sites as well.
So this is an experience, not
Yes,
just the food. You're
yes.
kind of you're helping the soul as well.
We want people to show up, have food, have a good time, and come back the next day.
Yeah, yeah. So you're doing it 5 days a week?
5 days a week.
Okay.
And it's going to be 9 weeks.
9 weeks. What an undertaking. But what do you do besides this?
Well, we have the food pantry on Albany Street. We also have mobile pantries. So there's 9 sites across Schenectady in which we park a
food
mobile pantry.
Oh, really?
A mobile pantry.
The
in
only one
9
I'm aware of is the one on Albany Street.
Yeah, nine mobile pantries at 9 elementary schools.
Okay.
We also do deliveries. We
And
do
the elementary schools even in the summer?
not during the summer.
Okay.
Not during the summer. So when schools close, then we don't have that.
Okay,
But we
that's what I
continue
want.
to have the service for the pantry.
Okay.
Which, by the way, just a statistic, over the last 3 years, we have seen an increase in service needs, potentially about 45 to 50%.
That's a large,
Just on the
that's
last
a large
3 years.
increase.
Yes.
Yeah, and
So-
you're able to handle all that.
So far, we have.
Yeah.
So
Where do you get your funding?
funding
Aldo?
comes from state and individual grants, right?
Yeah, and the city as well, like local government as well.
And what do you do there, Chinira?
So I write the grants.
You
Yeah.
write the grants.
Yeah, and I oversee our development department.
Yeah.
So like our social media, our communications, events, I help manage that.
Well, and somebody has to do that. How big is
Yeah.
your staff, Aldo?
About 17.
Well,
Oh,
Well, well,
the whole staff. Yeah.
the whole group with all the
Yeah.
different programs is about 17 people.
Okay.
But the staff that is allocated to the pantry right now is 3.5.
3.5. Who's the half person?
The half that is there today is not able to be here. So, but again, going back to volunteer work, we have been fortunate enough that we have a core group of volunteers that have been coming back year after year, week after week, day after day. So it takes about 26 people to run the pantry on a service days. So that means that every day at our pantry, there's at least 25 volunteers that are helping us distribute the food. That's a tremendous
And
workforce.
it isn't just dry foods. You do produce as well. don't
We
you?
do produce. We do, we pretty
Personal
much.
care items, baby items as
Oh,
well.
okay. So,
Yeah.
other
As
healthy,
we have
yeah.
them. Yeah.
When they're
even-
available. And
Right.
dog food, I'll bet.
We
Yeah.
even have cakes in case someone's birthday is coming. You know.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, that's nice that you're getting that. I like what you do. I think that it's so important. Food is important. It's and you got to feed the body
Yeah.
before you can, get them thinking and doing. And because if you're always hungry, then it's not good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just as our summer meals programs, we want everyone that visits any of our sites to feel welcome, and we want to be able to offer diversity of food and items. We also have halal meat there for our community that
Yeah.
needs it. So we're continue to learn. We continue to develop better systems for us to reach out to the community and get feedback on how to improve our services.
You're always learning
Yes.
because as times change, things change. So you
Yes.
have to kind of also, not only that, but you have other people that are jumping in to help you with food or donations and things like that. So you never know.
Correct.
Where, and hopefully, like that.
And I did want to say for summer meals, our kickoff is June 30th.
June 30th,
So that's
okay.
at Jerry Burrell Park from noon to 3. We have raffles, bouncy house, DJ.
So this is a party.
Yes, we're having a party, and there'll be organizations tabling. So if any organizations want to table, let us know. Reach out to us, and you can table there. It's going to be a good time. We
Yeah,
have a
and
lot
this
of
is,
fun.
say it again, June 30th?
June 30th
And
at
what
Jerry
day is
Burrell
that?
Park. It's a Monday.
It's on a Monday. June 30th. And I'll get that on my calendar actually.
And there's going to be a DJ, so if
Yeah.
you want, there could be dancing there.
There's everything.
Music, sports, food,
Are you
everyone
going to
is.
be dancing, Aldo?
I'll promise to dance if you dance with me.
I might take you up on that.
I'll be there.
Good. Sounds like a wonderful event, and I do love what you do. It's been a long time. I know they've been on my show for many, many years, and I've seen the development of what's going on and the dedication of the people that have worked there. And I'm so glad it's continuing under your leadership right now. So keep up the good work.
One step at a time.
One step. That's what we have to do. One
Yeah.
step at a time. Thank you both for being here.
Thank you.
And keep up the good work.
Thank you very much.
Good. Wait for that dance.
I'll be there.
Okay, good. We're going to switch over to here and talk about Juneteenth, which of course is another great holiday coming up. It's a federal holiday.
Yes.
Yeah. Aren't you excited about that?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Rachel is the director here. And Rachel, tell me, You've been working on this for a while, really. I mean, and I know your mom and Betty have been working on it, and you guys now are stepping up and doing the work too, and I'm glad to see you all here to do that. Tell us a little bit about what's going on.
Okay, so this is our 25th annual Juneteenth celebration that we've had here in Schenectady, and it's the biggest celebration that we've had in the Capital Region. We have a great lineup of events, from live bands. We have a section of gospel that we'll begin with.
I heard that, the gospel,
Yes.
yeah.
Doria will be there, and Restored will be our headliner.
It starts at 1 o'clock
It does start at
Central
1.
Park, right?
We have the whole event starts with a parade that will begin at 12 o'clock.
Okay.
And the parade will come up to the stage, and we'll begin our performances.
Great, great.
So the performances will kick off with Zorky Nelson and his group.
Zorky is
And
drumming. Oh,
yes,
it's wonderful.
They have those big drums that they bring out
Yeah,
for the
I
kings
know.
and
God,
queens. So
yeah.
that's how we'll kick off our celebration.
I always like listening to him. Yeah.
Yeah. So then we'll head into our gospel section, and then we have a community stage with local performers, and then we'll move on to our R&B section.
Yeah,
And
this
that's
is
how
going to be
we'll end the
exciting,
night.
right? And you have vendors and everything.
Yes.
So let me find out what everybody else does, and what are you doing? Because you're a newbie here.
I am a newbie, yes, yes. It's good to be a newbie.
It is good. Okay, and what are you
Yes.
doing?
So I am who am I? I forgot. I'm the
board,
president of the.
You know, you do the work, you don't need a title, but
I
go
know,
ahead.
I know. That always throws me off too. I'm a worker. That's
Yeah,
what
that's
I am.
how I am.
Yeah, but the president of the Hamilton Hill Arts Center
Yeah,
board.
I know.
Yeah, so it is an exciting time, and Hamilton Hill Arts Center has been existing for 57 years
I
now.
know.
That's huge, and just continuing to do great work in Hamilton Hill with children and families. So it's exciting. Juneteenth is going to be amazing.
It's going to be amazing, yeah.
Yes,
And you start out in Vale Cemetery, and I know Walter Simpkins used to be on the show every year to talk about what he did there, to talk about the burial area.
Yes. And that's going to be our Asia now, our Asia priest here.
Okay, hi Asia back there. Tell us a little bit about.
you?
So I know you're with Community Fathers now,
I am.
and you're not replacing Walter Simpkins. You're just
There's-
carrying on his torch, right?
There's no replacing
Yeah.
him. So yes, I'm very much. He passed the torch to myself and my co-executive director Kenneth Brooks. So Community Fathers, our role in the Juneteenth celebration is we are actually the kickoff to the celebration at the African American Burial Grounds, where we want people to remember their ancestors. We have a whole celebration there where we're giving libations. We'll be talking about the new inductee of the burial ground, which is now Walter Simpkins, because he was buried there. In previous years, there was the reenactment of Moses Viney, which
He always did that. Yeah.
how can you replace that?
You can't.
You know. So although we're putting that character to rest, not character that that
Yeah,
role
I know
that he
exactly what
played
you
to
mean.
rest,
Yeah.
because he did it so well. We're now focusing on people understanding that there are other people buried in that plot that we need to get to know.
Exactly.
So-
Well, and it just carries on another tradition, a new tradition.
Right.
Exactly.
Yes.
We're talking about Juneteenth, but what we haven't talked about is, what does Juneteenth represent? Because is that just a day, or did you pick it, or how? Tell us about it, Rachel.
Juneteenth is a shortening of June 19th, and it represents the day that the federal troops arrived in Galveston, Texas, and took over the state, forcing everyone to free their slaves.
Because even when the Emancipation Proclamation came in 1863,
Right.
Texas said no.
Well, the Civil War was still continuing after the Emancipation Proclamation. So this was 2 years after that when they were finally freed. And it is the longest running African American celebration in this country.
Yeah, it is, because it was the end, the final end of, I guess, slavery is I can't get that word out. It just makes me nervous to say it, but it is part of our history, and we have to realize what happened. So when that freedom came, the celebration was, this is finally all through the country. It's been accepted.
And it's important to celebrate our wins and to reflect on what that fight for freedom looks like today,
Yeah.
and to renew our commitment to upholding those values in our
Exactly.
communities.
So,
And so during the day, we're not only celebrating, we have some great children's activities, bouncy bounces and
Good.
mazes, and it should be a very fun day. And then we also have community discussions about how freedom was fought for throughout history and how we continue to fight for it today. How those freedoms were fought for in other places as well,
Exactly.
like Brazil. And,
And not just here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because this is an experience common to the diaspora,
Yes.
and we can learn from each other.
Exactly.
So we highlight things like capoeira and steel pan that are attempts at claiming your freedom through creativity. Throughout
Through
the
creativity. I like
diaspora.
that, through creativity, yeah. It's hard to believe that this country went through such a terrible time, and it was all about economics, right? That's really what it was all about. It was a fight for economics, not so much for anything else. June 19th is a federal holiday.
It is.
So the post office will be closed and banks will be closed, and people should know what it is. But it's interesting that I've talked about Juneteenth. Some people don't even know what it is. We got to get the word out as to what it represents.
Yeah.
Because just because you have a holiday doesn't mean, or I don't want to say holiday, it's a remembrance to and a celebration of what it represents. But we've got, I don't know, is it just me?
Well, I feel like us being on this show today, talking about it, right? You are a part of the media world, so the message coming from you and your viewership is going to help spread that word even more.
Yeah.
Anybody else who's watching, just getting to know what it is. This is the beginning, or this is the push that's needed to get the word out.
To get the
other
word
people,
out, yeah. Because originally I didn't know what Juneteenth was until it was explained to me, and then I see it's a very important holiday.
Yes.
And it's a holiday that started in Texas and has spread throughout the country.
Okay.
So it's taken some time for
so
for us to get the word, just like it took time.
Now,
for
how
them.
many? You said how many years have you been doing this now?
This is our 25th celebration.
25th. So it's 20. It's a marked.
Yeah.
It's a marked anniversary.
Yeah.
And I remember being at some of the beginning ones, which were held over at the museum in Albany.
Those were our Kwanzaa celebrations.
Oh, the Kwanzaa. Oh, that's right, the Kwanzaa. Oh,
which we've been doing for 40
you're
years.
right, that was Kwanzaa. Why did I think that was Juneteenth? But, it all kind of goes together.
Yeah. We celebrate these holidays to, like I said, remember our successes and also commit to, to healing, to wholeness, to claiming our freedom continually throughout our lives.
Yes, and what a heritage, to be able to look at the past, overcome what you can, and move forward, and to raise the awareness. To me, it's all about raising awareness, because a lot of us just go on about our own business without looking at other groups of people, they could be anybody that has gone through some kind of turmoil, that we need to recognize that and validate it. To me, this validation is more important than anything else, that I understand what happened and I want to move forward with you, that kind of thing. So you've got two celebrations. First of all,
So
Vale
the
Cemetery.
The first celebration will be at Vale Cemetery. That is going to be held on Friday. That's June 20th.
And what time?
6 to 8 p.m. That's all. That's
And
at
they
the
have
actual Vale.
ice cream.
The ice cream social on top of everything.
And we know the Stewards comes out for that.
Stewards comes out for
Because
that.
ice cream is very good. I've been to those.
Yeah,
and
they'll
it's
definitely
really,
be.
the kids get so excited when that happens too.
So the ice cream social. There'll be music, poems, tributes, libations. So definitely, I would encourage everybody to come. If you haven't been, I would encourage you to come and participate.
It is. It's a very nice ceremony. I have to say this.
Right.
I really enjoyed going to
definitely-
that and learning about that. I did not know there was a special plot, and that it was kind of not taken care of, and then it got taken.
Yep.
It's like a celebration of remembrance, you know.
And it's even on the it's marked as it's a landmark on the Underground Railroad their registry. So it's actually in Schenectady we have that to be proud of as well.
Exactly.
So definitely, I encourage everyone of all walks of life
Yeah,
to come.
please go.
and
It's
celebrate.
an experience. I know.
Yeah.
I've been there. I know. So, and then we're talking 1 o'clock after the parade. The parade is at 12, and it starts on McClellan Street.
1 o'clock, the main stage events begin.
Okay.
And then we also have some educational programs and workshops in the pavilion. And of course, the park will be filled with vendors.
With vendors and stuff. And it's always fun to walk around. And there's parking. I never had a problem parking. So you don't worry about parking and enjoy it. Yes.
Good
and
food,
You got
great
your hands full
crafts.
as president, right?
Absolutely, but I love it. I
Yeah.
love all of it. When you were talking about getting the word out, it's really important that, because we deal with children and families, for the adults to talk to their children about Juneteenth. It's a holiday and what the holiday really means. It's really important for our children to start to understand that, so that this generation can start sharing it with their peers and continue for it to grow. It's not just a celebration for older people.
No. It's a heritage.
They say freedom is not free, and it's important to maintain it and to stay vigilant.
You can lose your freedom in a heartbeat.
In a second.
Both by remembering the journey and the tactics that are used and renewing your commitment to
And
maintain it.
so it doesn't happen again. Yeah. Thank you all for being here.
Thank you for having
And
us.
have a wonderful day. And I'm going to try and get there for. I know the Saturday. I love to go with the Friday nights because it's so inspirational. To me, it's inspirational. And of course, the celebration is always a party, and everybody's invited. Come on down and enjoy and have fun and celebrate.
Exactly. It's 2 days. We would love to see you at both. If you can't make it to one, make it to the other. So.
Good. Thank you all for being here. It's such a pleasure to have you on the show today.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
We're going to switch over to our next guest, Iroquois Museum, and talk about slavery. I think there's more than that with the Native Americans. They got whomped, sort of. It was really...
Yes, there's a long history of
struggle.
Right, struggle there. And as a matter of fact, one of our exhibits this year is on the boarding school experience.
Oh, I did not know how bad it was. And I saw a Canadian group do a presentation. You were there?
Yeah, that was the museum. Yeah, the museum put that on. Yeah,
that was wonderful. And that was Canada. And I said, but it was also in New York and the border states. It's like boarding schools, and to do that to the kids.
There are more boarding schools in the United States
I did not know
than in Canada.
There were over 400 boarding schools in the U.S.
Right.
And they
all
weren't
across the
boarding
country.
schools.
Yes, that's a
I mean, that's a
good
euphemism.
That's right.
They were not boarding schools. If you're not aware of that, this is a tragedy. It's terrible what happened.
Yep.
So tell us what your exhibit is and why it's important.
Well, it's important, as you were discussing with Juneteenth, it's important to explain what happened, acknowledge the history, acknowledge the mistakes that were made, and go from there and try not to do it again. So it's a small exhibit. We now have 2 exhibit areas in the museum because we just recently extended our shop. It's now out where our porch used to be.
Oh,
so we now have a smaller exhibit area.
I haven't been there. I have to get over there.
You have to come
now.
and see that, right? So we have our main gallery, which this year is about wood. It's called Once a Tree, and so that is taking objects from our collection that were made by Haudenosaunee or Iroquois artists of wood. So it can be baskets, it can be lacrosse sticks, it can be sleds, and so
amazing craftsmanship. It's amazing.
And then in the new exhibit area is the boarding school, and it focuses on the Thomas Indian School, which was in Western New York, near Salamanca, and that was one of our guest curators, who is of Mohawk descent. Her grandfather went to the Thomas Indian School, so she kind of helped move that along.
Close to her.
Yeah, did much of the research, put together a lot of the photographs, found the photographs, and actually went to Western New York and picked up some objects that were taken from the Thomas Indian School when it closed, and that's on exhibit at the museum too. So there's a medicine cabinet and a bench that were used at the school. So again, there's a video that plays that talks to survivors from the schools and gets the experiences there. We have a touch screen that shows you the unbelievable amount of schools that were out there, and you can get the
When was the last school closed?
1957. So
no.
Yes. So
in our lifetime.
In our lifetime, and so there, you know, you can speak to some of the people who went to that school.
I did not know. I thought this was like way back when.
It did start as an orphanage.
But it wasn't an orphanage. They just took the kids away from their parents, isn't it?
Not at the Thomas Indian School, not in the very beginning. But then later, when it was given to the state to run, that's when things really started to get bad, because the whole idea is to, what is his name? It's kill the Indian and save the man.
Right.
Wow.
You know, get rid of the culture. Get rid
Well,
of
I
the
know
culture.
they wanted to erase it because they took away their names.
Yep.
Right.
You know, the hair thing. You
Couldn't
know, you
speak
had to
the
cut
language.
hair.
Right. It was.
And they kind of broke every tradition. They couldn't speak their language. They couldn't do this. They couldn't wear the clothes. I mean, everything. To me, the Native Americans. I mean, and let's face it, they were all different tribes.
Sure.
And every tribe was different.
Yep.
We can't say they were all the same. They weren't agrarian. They might have been, you know, people that moved around. So we can't paint with a broad brush.
That's right.
But we can look at what happened to them. I don't care who they were annihilated.
Yep, but
Well, it was Pratt. I've just remembered the name.
the Carlisle School.
The Carlisle School. And so it's really important that the museum is a reminder to children about who is part of our history. And Native people have made a great difference to our culture. We're not just the immigrants who showed up here, but we learned from the people who
Everybody's
lived
an
here
immigrant
first.
unless you were a Native American, as far as I'm concerned.
That's right.
Or a slave, you know.
Oh, that's true. Yeah,
that's how, you know.
Yeah.
how-
Yeah, they didn't come as an immigrant. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Thank you for reminding me that. Yeah.
So it's just, we need to know more about the people who lived here first. And that's one of the main purposes of the museum. And the way in which we like to do this is through the artwork of contemporary artists. So in next year, the big 250th celebration, we are asking Haudenosaunee artists to tell us how they think about the celebration. Because it's important to remember.
It's their celebration, yeah.
Yeah, and also, at least among the Haudenosaunee, they are veterans. They have been in every single war that our country has had since the Revolutionary War.
And we should give a big shout out if it wasn't for the Navajo
Yeah, the code
code
takers.
breakers.
And the Mohawk.
Yeah, and the Mohawks.
And the
too.
Mohawk
Yeah.
also were code takers.
Code takers.
As a matter of fact, Erin Keaton, who put on the exhibition of the boarding schools, her uncle was a code talker.
Yeah.
So
Amazing. I mean, if it wasn't, and the fact that you've lost some funding.
Yep.
We need
as
to
many
talk
museums,
about that
yes.
as well,
Yes.
because this is important.
It is. It's very important, and what it does is, for us, we have to rethink what are we going to do for 2026, because you're always planning the next year. You're always
and
planning
you had
what
the
the next
grants,
exhibit
but
is.
they were just yanked out from under you.
Right, and then because so many grants are on hold, you're at a point where you in essence can't apply to find out for funding for next year. So, as we do, we just go, okay, we gotta start figuring out how we're going to do it with little or no funding. So, we've done that a lot. We've done it for 45 years, 44
You own the
years.
building.
We own the building now, which is great, and we have.
But it needs repair every so often.
Oh, well, it's a 35-year-old
Yeah,
building,
yeah,
so
I'm just saying that because I know no matter what you have, it's like the plumbing or this or that.
Yeah, I think about that constantly. At the moment, one of our mid-1800s cabins, we're putting a new roof on that because it started to leak this
There you
winter.
go.
So,
Yeah.
and every prices for everything are going up. So,
Exactly.
So yeah, but we're looking at next year's exhibit in terms of if we get some of the funding we've applied for, then we can do much more than we can if we don't. So
Exactly.
it's just trying to look at both sides. And,
a lot of our federal grants, like Institute of Museum and Library Services and National Endowment for the Art, that's the extra. That's when we can bring in artists, we can pay them. It's the museum will survive.
Yeah.
We'll be
but
there.
We need to encourage artists and to do what we can to, I mean, and I have to say, I've never seen such gorgeous beadwork, and it's like amazing. Amazing what you do. I've been to the big museum out by, what is it, some casino, what is it, out in Connecticut? Anyways, I've been there. I mean,
Museum.
so, I mean, it just shows the amount of talent.
Absolutely.
That is, not only that, it's not past talent, it's been carried forward.
Absolutely.
And it's a major difference. I mean, you can have an exhibit, you can have a beautiful collection, but to have the artists there, to have the presenters there, the performers there, to actually meet the people who are
Meet
coming,
and greet
it's a
and
major
talk
difference.
about their work.
I mean, when we have dancers at the museum, everybody just comes out, and they get to talk to people, and it's
we even get out there and dance. They
get out there
us
and
to
dance.
in, in the circle there.
And it's not stuffy. It's informal. And so a lot of the preconceived notions you might have, you meet the people and you say, oh, okay, they're just like me, but they have their own culture.
They have a different culture. Yeah. The Kids Art Festival, we had the Haudenosaunee, we had the Mohawks. The Mohawks were there.
Oh, okay.
Right? Yeah.
Okay.
And they performed.
Yeah.
And it was funny because he came off and I said, oh, come here, I want to talk to you. And I said, so where what is your background? He says, oh, I'm a Seneca. I says, no, he says, Seneca, did he say? Seneca Nation. And I said, yeah, but what else? Then he says, well, I'm a Mohawk. And I said, okay. So because we have to realize there were nations, there were, different, and each one was, they aren't tribes. What do they call them?
Well, for the Iroquois, they refer to themselves as nations. And,
nation.
Depending on where you are in the country, some still say tribes, some say nation.
Yeah, I like to use the correct terms, is what I'm trying to say.
Because we always refer to it as the Six Nations.
The Six Nations, yeah. Okay.
Yep.
And that's in this area. And
yes,
of course
that's New York
there's
State
the
and Canada.
Potawatomis, and there's
that's right.
everything else out the other.
That lot still left, yeah.
This is Mohawk territory.
Yeah, this is Mohawk territory.
And Buffalo is Seneca territory. And
I see. So
Onondaga are in the center, Syracuse. Before them are the Oneida, and after them, next to the Seneca, are the Cayuga.
Okay, and they're all part of
the broader, what would we refer to as the Iroquois Confederacy.
Iroquois. See, that's what I was trying to do. It's the Iroquois Confederacy.
Right.
They
so that's sort of the umbrella term.
I lived in the Midwest, and we had the Potawatomis, and we had all the others.
But we're also trying to get people to say Haudenosaunee because that's
the correct name
in that's in Mohawk. Each nation pronounces it a little differently, but Iroquois, a lot of people know who that is and don't know who Haudenosaunee
So
are.
you're going to change your name of your museum to Haudenosaunee?
Well, we've discussed it. It's still in discussions. It's a big undertaking legally.
Yeah. That's right, because you have the name.
Yeah.
We're almost out of time. I do want to encourage people to come to visit your museum.
Yeah, absolutely.
So why don't you tell us a little bit where it is and when they can come?
It's in House Cave, New York. It's right down the road.
It's not in the cave. It's down in the cave.
Just down the road from Howe Caverns.
It's called House Cave.
Yeah, right. So we're just outside of Cobleskill, exit 22 off from I-88.
Easy to find.
Very easy to find.
Except for this year.
When they're doing road work?
Yes, they're going to take out our bridge, so we're going to have a routing around the normal Caverns Road. So we just found that out today.
Oh my!
So we now have to do some signage and stuff like that. But
as long as they got signs, I mean, I can follow a sign. But other than that, if I had to follow my nose, I would never get there.
But we have our festival, which is always Labor Day weekend, when we have the dancers and storytellers and
you really need to go then, because it's just, well, you should go anyway.
That's right. Come and
see us.
Go
on our website, and then we have a whole list of calendar events, and come on a Saturday.
It's very full, and I applaud you for continuing on with facing some
and they
challenges.
can come and meet our kitty, who's a very good ambassador.
Oh, I love kitties.
Our museum kitty, little boy, has been there for 13 years.
Yeah.
And
he's going to be a big boy pretty soon.
Well, he is a big boy, but visitors ask for him all the time. So
thank you both for being here.
Thank you.
For the work that you do, and for the message that you keep continuing to get out, so that we remember maybe not what you and I did, but what some of our nasty ancestors
did. That's it. That's right.
Can I say that?
Yeah,
I did. I already said it.
Thank you.
Okay, now we're going to talk about a man of no importance. Tell me, are there any men of no importance?
Well, yes. it's
Okay, you're
true.
going to tell me about it. though.
So we're doing a musical called A Man of No Importance.
Okay.
It is based in 1960s Dublin, Ireland, so it's an Irish musical.
Oh, I love Irish musicals. Yes.
It is written by the same two people who wrote Ragtime, Seussical,
Oh, really?
Anastasia.
Wow, wow.
And it's got a book written by one of the most prolific gay playwrights of our time, Terrence McNally.
Oh, Terrence McNally.
Yes.
His plays is amazing.
He's a brilliant writer.
Yes, he is.
He has wrote the book for this show, and it takes place in 1960s Dublin, as we already said. It's about a bus conductor named Alfie Byrne.
And you're Alfie, right?
Yes.
I'm Alfie.
Okay, you're
Brian's
the
playing our
conductor
Alfie,
there.
yes.
Okay.
Yep.
He's basically he's in the closet and he's trying to figure out how to live authentically in 1960s Dublin and try
Yeah, it was
to
different back then,
yes,
right?
100%.
Although I heard that Ireland has approved gay marriage, and
Yes.
that was really great.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he's trying to navigate homophobia, internal feelings, and it's a. I always try to find projects that tell a good story.
Yeah.
And so this is a beautiful, beautiful story of both self-acceptance and acceptance from a community that you would probably not expect acceptance from.
Well, especially in 1960s, you're talking
Yes.
about.
It's a big Catholic time. The Catholic Church was still running things basically in the country of Ireland in the 60s, still in charge of all things moral. And so, there's a...
So they did not have a separation of church and state then, or they did but didn't.
Did but didn't.
Yeah.
It kind of was an unsaid thing that, the Catholic Church still kind of held on.
Had the tight control.
Yeah. And so Alfie Alfie loves all things Oscar Wilde. And so that hence the name A Man of No Importance. Because Oscar
okay, that's where you got that. Okay, good.
Oscar Wilde's probably most famous property is The Importance of Being Earnest. And so Alfie is also in charge of a local community theater. They do all their performances in the basement of a church, St. Imelda's.
Oh, in a church. Whoa,
in the basement social hall of a church. That's where they
probably
do their
didn't know
shows.
about it though.
Yeah. And so he's got all these people in his life, and he's just trying to be him in a way that feels authentic for him. And we help him make that discovery, and by the end of the show, you're with him the entire way. So
Well, I got to ask Alfie here. Well,
Yes.
I'm not Alfie, but anyway. How was it to get into the character?
It was quite the journey, trying to figure out who my character was, and then finding like a relationship between him and I. And so coming to realization of who he is, coming out with the bravery to accept himself, and then to come out to the world, basically. And for me, this is being my first production, kind of getting that bravery.
It was your first production?
Yes.
Really?
Yes, very first one.
You took on a big role.
It's a very big role.
What was your background? Tell me how you jumped into this.
I've performed with the Albany Gay Men's Choir.
Uh-huh.
So I love to sing, but I've always loved to act. I've always wanted to get into acting and combining acting and singing. So I'm like, why not try out for a musical?
It's all stage work.
Yes.
So then, this is your first production, and you got a lead.
I do. Yes.
Amazing.
There was some strategy in that casting choice. My strategy was this: I knew that Brian could sing, and I felt that he probably had enough. He has enough natural character that he could possibly identify with the character a little in a much deeper level than a person who wasn't Brian could.
Okay.
And so I kind of took that gamble in trying to,
Ooh, a gamble.
I took that gamble, knowing kind of in my heart of hearts that it wasn't really a gamble. I knew that Brian would connect to the story of Alfie Byrne, and I knew that that him telling that particular story is basically, him telling a version of his own story.
Yeah.
And so it feels authentic when it's rooted in that sort of authenticity.
How big is your cast?
We have 15.
15.
Yes, we have
You're
15.
you performing at the Edison Club?
We are at the Edison Club in Rexford.
Yeah.
in
How's
their
that?
ballroom.
Is they have a stage area? Or?
They have a ballroom.
Actually, I had my wedding reception there. That's why I'm
Oh,
just
there you go. Yeah, they have
many years ago.
Yes. They have a ballroom, and in their ballroom, they have a little stage set up, a little proscenium stage. We are doing a kind of a 3/4 thrust feel for this show, kind of bringing it out into the audience.
Oh, nice.
And in 3 sides, which is its own tricky thing to do 3/4 thrust, because you have to remember your actors at some point, an actor is going to have its back to you. There is no way around it. You try to minimize those moments.
Well, if you went theater in the circle, that's the same.
Yeah,
same thing.
Yeah. The big thing I tell people when we're doing this kind of style in the round or 3/4 thrust is to play to the portals of the theater, because if you're looking out at a portal, chances are
you're going to get
most of
somebody.
the audience is going to see you.
Yeah. So how does it feel to be in a stage like that?
It's quite interesting, as we said, not upstaging and trying to, I don't want my back against the audience. But yeah, he keeps referring to the portal, and now I'm starting to really understand what he means by the portal. So I thought portal into some other, land or something. Yeah. But it's been great, and I'm excited to do it on show and see how that feels, because I've never even seen one.
We open next Friday, June 20th. We have 2 weekends, so Friday, June 20th at 7, Saturday, June 21st at 7, and Sunday, June 22nd at 2 o'clock. Sorry,
you have
Sunday
an afternoon one, yeah.
Yes, and then the following weekend, 27, 28, 29, again, Friday, Saturday at 7, Sunday at 2. Those are our 2 weekends for a Man of No
And then
Importance.
the big cast party.
And then the big cast party, yes.
Because afterwards.
Yes. Bunbury Players is a free theater company.
I know, and that's amazing that you can do that.
Yeah, we try to keep it.
You take donations, though.
We do have a suggested donation of $20, but again, we won't turn you away if you cannot.
I don't know if everybody realizes, but it costs money
Yes.
to put on a production. We're not talking about costumes and sets. We're talking about the book.
Yep.
And I don't think a lot of people realize, and it depends how many nights it's shown.
Yep.
You got to pay so much a night.
And the size of your audience changes how much you pay for your rights, depending on how many seats you have.
Oh, I didn't know that. I mean,
yes.
Yeah, I can't
There
remember.
are
I was involved in it for a while, but I forgot that part.
Yeah,
of
there
it.
are several factors in how they come up with how you pay your rights to the property, how many seats you have, what the price of your ticket is, where it is, that sort of thing. Musical theater in particular, musical theater is very expensive because of the rights.
Yeah.
This is Bunbury Players' very first musical. They've not mounted a musical before. We've done some cabarets, but you don't really pay for those. You pay your ASCAP kind of.
The ASCAP, yeah.
And so you get that coverage there. But this is their very first fully staged musical. So, and I am ecstatic that they chose both A Man of No Importance and for me to helm this project.
I just read recently that there was a high school that decided to do a play or a musical or whatever it was, but never got the rights. And then they had to pull it, and then one of the parents paid for the rights.
Yes.
And so I wanted to bring that up because I think people do not realize when they get a ticket, they go, oh, that seems like a lot to pay. And you go, no, these are all volunteers that are doing this, but there's a cost behind that.
Yes.
So.
Yes, I mean
throw money in.
100%. Yes, we will take your $20 suggested donation, but if you want to give us more, we will gladly take
it
more
all.
money.
Well, I'll say break a leg, but you're not gonna break anything. You're gonna break records. How's that? Break the record.
Can we make
yes? I have to announce what's coming up on our next show. We have Songs Along the Mohawk, which is really interesting with Byron Nelson. And we have the Homemade Theater. They're doing 1776, a musical.
Fantastic
there
show.
We go. And then we have Music Haven, wonderful series coming up. Schenectady Rotary is doing their cornhole. We're talking about that. And STEP program is coming in. That's the Saratoga Therapeutic Equestrian program. Lots of good stuff coming up, and we want you all to watch our next show. I do want to just give a shout out because Father's Day is coming up, and I do want to say that we need to honor some of our great fathers that are out there and that are doing great things for their kids. And if you're one of them, happy Father's Day. That's all I can say. But we do want you to check out our next show. And if you can't find us and watch us on Open Stage Media, you can always see us on YouTube and also on my website, which is www.capitalregiontoday.org. And please check us out. We'd love to see you. Check out our shows. Have a great week.